Hey followers, this is Doug Kenney talking. Today I have Loni Unser, and she is a member of the Unser racing family, and she has an incredible story to tell, and I'm going to let her do that. Welcome to the channel, Loni.
Thanks so much for having me, Doug. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, I'm very pleased that you made the time, and I'm pleased to be talking to a member of the Unser family.
Yeah, just one small part, but
You're getting there. Hopefully, we'll see you at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway behind me soon.
yeah, I know. I've been lucky enough to have been there throughout my childhood, and it's one of the greatest races in the world, and it'd be cool to be in the car one day.
Yeah, I can picture that happening because the Unsers are like the Andrettis. They're like on par with them as far as fame.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. I've had my great uncles and whatnot be able to show me around around the track and take me in a pace car around the track. And it's just, it's like, it's so special for my family, this place, that there's nothing like it. It's indescribable, and getting to go as many times as I can throughout the year is really neat.
That's great to hear, and yeah, that's really cool that you get to go around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and experience what your great uncles did. Like that's really cool. Like, what are you to Al and Bobby Unser?
So my father is Johnny Unser, and his dad was Jerry Unser. And Jerry was killed practicing for the Indy 500, actually. And his brothers are Al and Bobby, and that's kind of how it all falls. And it's such an honor to be a part of the Unser family and have so many of these great people to look up to.
So that's really cool. So yeah, you're the daughter of Johnny Unser, right?
Yes.
That's pretty cool. I used to tweet him on Twitter years ago.
Oh, cool. Right on. Yeah. It's great. I look up to him so much, and he's taught me so much about the motorsport industry and really helped me along. And then his cousin, Robbie Unser, has also helped me a ton. He's really made an effort to come out to some of my races and coach and everything. And then, all the rest of my family members will give me pieces of advice and, give me help here and there. So they've all really been super supportive since I've started my career.
Cool. That's great to hear. So how did you get into racing exactly?
When I was a senior in high school, my dad came to me and said, "Hey, Lonnie, when I was your age, I was able to go to a driving school myself. It will make you a better driver on the street. I think it's something you should do." And of course, it was, I really wanted to go. And because I had always, like I said, I grew up around racing, and it was always something I wanted to do, but it wasn't possible growing up where I did. I grew up in a small town in Idaho. So of course, I jumped at the opportunity and told him yes, yes, yes. And that led me to the BMW performance driving school. And I remember the night after sitting there with my dad at dinner saying, "Is there any way I could make this happen?" Because I loved it. And I found pace and racecraft. I did well. So it only made sense. And we started to think about it a little bit learn more. And then I found myself going to the Mid Ohio school in order to get a race license. And then from there, just kind of that's how it all started. And I'm really lucky that I was able to get that opportunity.
That's great to hear. How I got involved in racing was I saw it on television. I encountered it on television when I saw the 2009 NASCAR race at Talladega. And it was the one where Brad Keselowski sent Carl Edwards into the catch fencing, I believe.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, that's how most people really get involved in motorsport, right? Like it's such a it's hard to find an entry point to motorsport, which is definitely a downfall. And I think the sport is getting better and better, which is really cool. And I'm just lucky that I've been able to be around it since I was a kid.
Yeah. When did you first go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Oh, it was before I could remember, to be quite honest. I went a couple years when I was really young when my dad was racing. And I remember, I have a really cool memory actually. He took me and set me in his Indy car. And I can even remember when I was that young looking around the car, just thinking, this is the coolest thing. And, really that's my first memory of racing.
That's really awesome. I hope to go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway soon.
Yeah, it's absolutely something I would recommend to everyone. It's amazing. I mean, you see those cars fly by at 230 miles an hour, and there's nothing like it. It's truly is the greatest spectacle in racing.
Yeah, and last year I interviewed race driver Max Pappas, and I asked him for his reaction when Hornish nipped Marco Andretti at the last second back in 2006. And Pappas was like, that's exactly what makes Indianapolis Indianapolis.
Right. It's unpredictable, and there's so much history there that's so cool, and it's awesome you got to talk to Max Pappas.
Yeah,
Uh,
he was
so
one of
many
the
great people.
yeah, he was a great guy to talk to, and he's also a personality in NASCAR at the moment with his road racing abilities. So that was pretty cool to talk to him about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome.
I remember watching the 2006 Indianapolis 500 on television. I was too young to understand it, but I watched it with my grandfather, who was an Andretti fan and the Indy fan as well, and he was cheering Marco on the final lap. And what happened was Hornish went past Marco, and my grandfather sort of was like, damn it,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, just back to that unpredictability thing. And my family, we have a few, my mom, my dad, and I have a few family friends who every year we get into a betting pool of who we think's going to win. So it's really fun. And because of that, I remember little things that happened, like you were talking about. I remember when Hornish won because I had betted on him. So I think I was so young, I won a stuffed animal.
I bet now that you're an adult, you wished you bet money rather than a
Yeah.
stuffed animal.
Yeah, but when you're a kid, you don't want money, you just want toys.
Pretty much, yep.
Yep.
So after that, I must ask, what was it like growing up as an Unser when it came to like the publicity around the name?
It was always something I was extremely proud of. I, friends of mine would hear that my family is a big name in racing, and I was like, yeah, they're pretty awesome. And, going to the races, it was just really cool for me because I was able to see a little bit more inside the sport and I remember being pretty young and being snuck into the pits at the 500, and it was just really cool, and it was always awesome to hear all of my family's stories and just hoping to be as successful as they were someday.
That makes a lot of sense, and you're definitely on that route from what I
Yeah,
understand.
thank you so much.
I could have actually gone to an Indy car race many years ago if things had worked out. Like, I was scheduled in 2011 at 13 years old to attend the championship race in Vegas. And, I was scheduled to attend it because a friend of my dad's was working security and he got us tickets. But I made a poor choice in school and was grounded. and because of it, I missed out on the opportunity. But that was the race where Dan Weldon, passed away. And it turns out if I had gone to the race, I would have been in this area where where the crash happened.
Oh, wow.
And so
That's cr-
the grounding was a blessing in disguise.
yeah, that's a insane story. I mean, it's crazy how things happen the way they do. And hopefully you'll be able to go to another IndyCar race.
I hope so, but honestly, at first I was disappointed, but seeing the accident, that caused me to just, say it was meant to be, I wasn't meant to see it, and luckily I wasn't, because I don't want to see it for the wreck. I want to see it for the competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would like to see, and especially at 13 years old.
Yeah, at 13, that would have been traumatizing. But
Mm-hmm.
in any case, I feel for the family that, were affected by it, like the kids and all that. That's what I was really concerned about, were his boys.
Yeah, that is absolutely one of the saddest days in motorsport history. There's
Yeah,
been many sad days, but that one was, Dan, from what I heard, was an amazing man, and it's just really sad.
yeah, and that was tough, and it just seemed similar to the Dale Earnhardt accident because the
Mm-hmm.
impact was similar.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is, though. That's just part of the sport,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not a great part, but
No, not a great part, but hopefully I'll get to IndyCar eventually, and I'm hoping it's the Indianapolis 500 when COVID slows down.
Yeah, I'm confident you will.
For sure. And after that, I must ask, did your family ever support you in your racing career like the Unsers?
Yeah, like I was saying, Robbie has helped me a ton, and my dad as well. And then uh, Al Jr. has helped me, give me advice, and same with Bobby Sr. and Al Sr. I call them both Uncle Bobby and Uncle Al. They've given me a lot of great advice, and it's just really cool to hear the stories they've been through and hear the different things they have to say about the sport. And they have told me stories, and it's just back in the day, it seemed like we're talking about how crazy and how sad things happen in racing. But when they were racing, they told me that they would lose a guy every weekend. It was that dangerous. And unfortunately, that's how my grandfather was killed. And, we're very fortunate the sport has gotten so much safer, and there's so many different safety precautions. I almost feel safer on the racetrack than I do it on the street because of all of that safety.
Yeah. I know one thing. I did some research on Uncle Bobby not too long ago, and I read in his biography what the controversy surrounding his Indy 500 win was about. Like, when you go onto Wikipedia, they don't clarify what the vague ruling was in USAC, but I recently learned what it was. The ruling was, exiting the pits, you have to position yourself behind a packup. And the thing was this: packup was not defined by the rule book. They didn't determine how many cars was a packup. They didn't determine that. And so Bobby had no way of knowing how many cars he could go alongside when exiting the pits.
And that's really interesting. Like I was saying, they have so many different stories of different things that have happened to them, and it's pretty cool to hear.
Yeah, so that's one thing I know about USAC from back then, was what the rule was. And honestly, I don't think the controversy was really entirely his fault. It was really USAC's for not having a precise definition in their rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to hear about all of that.
Yeah, is Bobby a good storyteller as Buzz McCall?
Ah, yeah, I mean, I have loved, so I've been racing with Brad and Buzz McCall this year, and I have loved hearing Buzz's stories. He's great, and I find that all of those guys just can tell the most amazing stories in the most amazing ways, probably because they are crazy stories. And so, yeah, I'd say my Uncle Bobby is a pretty good storyteller. We could sit there for hours and he just tells stories. So
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, who is your biggest racing hero?
I really look up to Catherine Legg, uh, and just what she's done with the sport is amazing. I don't She's so strong-minded, and she's also an amazing driver, and she is where I would like to be one day. So, in terms of racing drivers that are current, she's a huge one for me.
That's a good one. What is she driving?
She's in the IMSA WeatherTech series.
Ah, that's a good one. That's really a good one.
Yeah, yeah.
What's the biggest race you've ever won?
Hmm. Well, just early September, when I was racing with round 3, we were able to win the last race, and winning that race meant that we won the championship. So that was a pretty big one for us, and it was really cool. It came down to the last 30 minutes of that race, so we were really excited when we won it.
That's great to hear. How many races have you won so far?
I I've won a handful of endurance races, which is really cool. And it's winning an endurance race is awesome because it's such a team effort. And, the crew guys are so involved and all the drivers are so happy. So that's really, really been awesome. Um, yeah. Uh, and that I have been racing for, this is my 4th season, so I haven't gotten, a ton of opportunity. And one of the series I've raced in is Spec Miata, and that is notoriously competitive. I have not been able to win a race in that yet, which I hope one day I can win a race in a series that's tight, that it's that tight, because, all of the cars are extremely close, and all of the drivers are extremely close. That's why I picked the series to start off in, is because of the competitive nature of it. I knew that if I went into a series that I could be easily winning races, then that's not where I should be in order to be progressing as a driver.
All righty. I wish you luck in that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it certainly is.
What's your favorite racing movie between Days of Thunder, Talladega Nights, Logan Lucky, or a few others?
I think Talladega Nights is a classic. At the track, everyone's saying "shake and bake," and it's just awesome. It's a cool movie. And I've actually had friends come to me and ask if I like that movie because it's kind of making fun of the sport a little bit, and I think it's awesome. I think it's so funny.
Yeah, I was known in high school for my Jean Girard impersonation with his accent.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I actually performed as Jean Girard in a talent show when I was in high school before a rough spot began in my life. And the only reason I didn't win was because my partner didn't know the movie. And so his act
Oh
was
no.
way off.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would love to see your impression.
Okay, let me try very quick. My name is Jean Girard. And I am a racing god driver just like you, except I am from Formula One.
That is awesome. That's so great.
Yeah, and the people that won the talent contest in my high school was it was a group of kids that reenacted the dinner scene in Pirates of the Caribbean, and they used the actual soundtrack.
Ah, shoot. Sounds like yours was probably the most funny.
Yeah, mine was funny. Not just because mine was spot on, but because my friend made a lot of mistakes.
Oh gosh.
He didn't know the movie.
Yeah.